Hi, I'm Danielle Kelly. Welcome to another JPR Live Session where we get to chat up artists we love listening to here on the Rhythm and News service, as well as hear one-of-a-kind in-studio performances. Today, my guests are here by way of tour in support of their 5th studio album. Originally from South Carolina, No Depression described them as 90s grunge pop, beach bum spiritualism, 2010 indie rock, mashed up with jammy psych and country rock foundation. We've got Justin Osborne, Johnny Delaware, and his mom doesn't like us to call him Marty, Marshall Hudson. They are here as the band Susto. Welcome, guys.
Thanks
for coming in. I get that all right?
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for taking time on your tour. I almost wanted to introduce you as hailing from Puddin Swamp or Turbeville, South Carolina, but reading about it, I wasn't quite sure if that was like an affectionate term or derogatory. So I thought I'd just ask you about that name. What a great title.
Yeah, that's where my family's from. I wouldn't say the band's from there, but
okay.
That's where I grew up, where a lot of my family still lives. It's Puddin Swamp, no G.
Okay.
South Carolina. Yeah. It's a pretty beautiful place actually. So
cool. And where's home for y'all now?
We're kind of spread out. Our band kind of formed in Charleston, South Carolina, but we've kind of spread out a little bit over the years. Marshall still lives in Charleston, and our bassist, Kevin Early, he lives in Charleston, but Johnny lives in Mexico City now. I live in Austin, Texas, and we have a couple members and crew that are in Atlanta and Athens, Georgia area. So
sprinkled all over the place.
Yeah, you know.
Very cool. Well, welcome to Southern Oregon. Would you guys like to kick things off with a song?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, first of all, we love being in Southern Oregon. It's so beautiful here, and thank you guys for having us. And we're going to do the title track from our newest album. This is My Entire Life.
If life is a jungle, I wanna be a bird, flying up above it all, low enough to be heard, with a brightness in my feathers so everyone can see. Oh, just fundamental colors, yellow, red, blue, and green. Can you see me now? Hey, there you go, peace on earth, I want it though. I can see it now. Hey, there you go, love like yours, I wanna know. I can hear you now. If life is a canvas, I wanna fill it all with landscapes and portraits and brushstrokes of love. I wanna capture all the memories like lightning in a jar. I wanna walk through the rainbows where all the colors are. Can you see it now? Hey, there you go, peace on earth, I want it though. I can see it now. Hey, there you go, love like yours, I wanna know. I can see you now.
It's Susto Live here at Jefferson Public Radio in another JPR Live Session. That was the title track of the new record just out. It's called My Entire Life, their 5th studio album. In the studio today, it's Justin, Johnny, and Marshall here. I know you've probably been asked this a number of times, but the band name's very interesting, Susto. It seems like it has some pretty deep meaning. Could you maybe explain your interpretation of the name?
Yeah, so whenever we first started the band, which is some years ago at this point, I was studying anthropology at the College of Charleston, and I came across this term susto, and it was a Spanish word for what was described as a folk illness that was like kind of attached to spiritualism as well, where like if like someone's going through something traumatic or something sort of big transition in their life, like that their soul kind of can get separated from their body, like maybe still tethered, but not really like where it's supposed to be, and you can kind of feel beside yourself, I guess. And at the time I was going through a lot in my life where I had grown up in this very kind of religious household and had kind of moved away and was changing my worldview. I was also coming out of like a long-term relationship, and I was about to move to a foreign country. I was in a big shift in my life.
Which country were you moving to?
Cuba.
Oh, wow.
And I had been in this band for a long time too that I was ending, and so like I was still making music, but like, you know, not really sure what I was going to do with it and where it was going to go. And when I came across the term susto, which also in Spanish just colloquially just means fear or fright, you know, like, I was like, oh wow, this sort of definition kind of makes me feel like this is this feeling that I've been having that I haven't really known how to name. And that was like kind of what all the songs were about, you know? And so at first the project, that record was just going to be called Susto. And then once that album kind of started to gain some traction, we decided just to name the band that. And, but it's been fitting because I feel like all the records, and our newest one definitely included, like have been dealing with kind of the same things. There's a lot of confessionalism and a lot of kind of narrative based like thematics throughout all the music. And it's kind of just going through a lot of different things in life and trying to make sense of it and trying to, you know, get through those transitional periods and, I don't know, distill some sort of meaning from those experiences into the music.
Yeah. A lot of the themes in the album seem like really, like you've been working through some really big life transitions and things. And
yeah,
it seems, I mean, I can only imagine it. I bet this music is pretty cathartic, to be expressing that way. And I bet music's probably a pretty healing vehicle for you right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody goes through changes and highs and lows in their life. And I've been in a period of particularly intense, like, shifts in my life in the last 3 or 4 years. And, you know, like becoming a musician that was traveling all the time, you know, and then the pandemic kind of happening, slowing that down. I lost my dad. I became a parent. I went through a divorce.
Wow.
I fell in love again. Yeah, I remarried. And I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff, and things happen really fast, and it kind of all seems like it can be coming at you at once sometimes. And like the music's definitely this kind of escape for me, but also this way to like not really like turn off what's happening in my life, but like this safe place to go in and explore it and think about it and write about it and like kind of like give it its own melody, you know? And so yeah, making this record, and I would say our last record too, like both kind of explore these like pretty intense periods of my life. And but I'm grateful for it because it's very cathartic, and also making those records, but then getting to come out and like sing those songs live and also find people who can relate and connect, and they're like, you know, have been through maybe similar things. It's really powerful, and I'm grateful for that opportunity because, you know, it brings a lot of meaning to my life.
Oh yeah, you've said that you feel like you've sort of crossed a mountain and you're running now, and I'm always interested, you know, when any, you know, kind of hero comes out of the smoke cloud, you know, what other things would you attribute to, like, how did you get through it? What were like practices or things that were your tools to get through it all?
Well, I would say probably the biggest thing that got through it was the people around me helping me get through it. I mean, 2 of them are sitting right beside me right now. Like,
band fam.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, in some of the periods I was talking about, a lot of people who were kind of in my life, like all of a sudden disappeared. And, but some of my oldest, closest friends are my bandmates and my collaborators. And that is how I got through. People kind of helping me remember that like I was going to be okay and I could get through it and it was going to pass. Like, cause that was seriously in some of the darkest moments of my life. But we were still playing shows and recording, and there would be times where I was just like weeping in the front of the van. And like, but you know, like being kind of held together by people around you is really invaluable. And I don't know what I learned a lot about community and kind of like understanding how to appreciate, and I don't know, I think the people in my life are the main thing. And also though, personally, there's like just choosing to like believe in, that there's something better on the other side was really helpful. And it's not like you get through this one challenge and then all of a sudden there are no more challenges. You just like, you might get through like this bigger, more dense cloud of stuff, and it makes you, more experienced, and it makes it easier to handle stuff on the other side of it. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. It's not so much that I've just like made it through something. I've just like grown in the experience enough to kind of, to be able to navigate it in a less stressful way.
Oh man, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. I went down a rabbit hole a couple nights ago and just spent the whole evening looking through Susto videos, which kudos, by the way, you guys have really fun videos, and that's awesome because I know videos take so much energy and time and resources, but you guys are so creative. And I was at the point of seeing a Bob Ross character just lose it. And in Double Rainbow, they've got a video for Double Rainbow from the Time in the Sun record. And you feel free to not answer this and we can skip over it. But I was like, at seeing him just lose it, I wondered what your take is on mental health and psychedelics. And if that, it's, I guess, a classic for that to be influential in rock music, but just wondered what your take was on all that.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say that we are a pro psychedelic band. Especially like in a way that like, I think there's a lot of us and you guys have some mics too, maybe not, so feel free to chime in, but there's definitely been experiences in all of our lives to where we've used psychedelics for healing purposes and for, kind of working through the Susto in our lives, like, and I think that's something really important to us and something we try to illustrate in our music and bring like attention to and be playful about too, because obviously there's illegality involved and there's like a whole cultural pushback about that. But it's something
which is illustrated in that video kind of, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's definitely supposed to be this whole representation of, a little bit of the sweet nectar falling into his coffee, and then all of a sudden he's seeing the world differently and like he's seeing systems differently and authority differently, and I think that's represented in our music. Like early on when we were starting, that was kind of a big part of our friend group and our kind of creative circle. And there's different times and places for it. There's times to kind of go way out there and like break yourself open and heal. And then there's times to microdose to get to for a show there's this little sweet little energy that's like that I think we like to channel a lot live. But I don't want to do all the talking on this because I feel like
I just know that the biggest pivotal moments to become a better human have probably come from those revelations from the components.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just takes responsibility like anything in life, but it would better. I just wish the whole world could have a little shroom once in a while.
I know.
I think it'd be a better world.
I feel like the kind of like psychological and like just spiritual effects of even just a little bit occasionally, like it's kind of like this joy that you can kind of get, this joy place you can kind of go to and feel your connection to everything else,
I feel like I can hear that perspective in your music, which leads me to something else I wanted to ask you about. Listening to your catalog, especially this new one, My Entire Life, which, listeners, is available on all streaming platforms and also for purchase at their website, sustoisrael.com. there's this message of hope and optimism, a through line. And maybe, I mean, it kind of sounds kooky because really the songs are, there's addiction and death and loss and questioning God. But for me, I never feel like in all of that messaging, I never felt like it was a victimized perspective. So anyway, maybe we're repeating ourselves here, but am I interpreting that accurately? And I wondered if you could speak to that positive outlook. I mean, you're speaking about heavy issues, but is it true that it's all with a positive?
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I would consider myself to be an optimist. Like, I'm also like, I feel the weight of how heavy things are for sure. I promise you. And it weighs on me a lot. And so, but I also like, I just don't want to go through my life believing that like the pain isn't outweighed by the joy and the meaning that's all in it, you know, and the experience, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that like kind of unintentionally that comes out in the songs because that's just what the perspective is like, man, this is brutal. Can we talk about this? Can we like explore how brutal this was, but also like not live in it and ignore the fact that like time moves on, things heal, new joy comes in, and that also just the fact of being able to have the chance to be alive and see things and experience all those, you know, the spectrum of quote unquote good and bad, like is an incredible blessing from somewhere. I don't know where, you know. So yeah, I think that hopefulness is a big part of the overall message of Susto, and I think that's on all the records. It's like we're trying to express this sort of underlying anxiety about everything and sometimes really deep pain about things, but also excitement and joy. Like this is we can be a heavy band at times, but I wouldn't say we're a sad band. You know, like there's like
Totally.
there's definitely an optimistic kind of hope there. I'd say a hopefulness is probably the best way to describe it.
Well, I love that, and I know that we would love to hear another song. What would you like to play next?
Well, I think now we're gonna play one that's actually is pretty heavy, but and you know, and this may be a good segue to into this song, but like to also speak to what we're talking about. It's like the spectrum of those things doesn't always happen in every song. That's why I feel like we're like an album band, because like, you know, one song might really focus in on the pain and the next one will take you kind of like back up on the mountain a little bit, you know, and it's
Sometimes.
like exactly. So we're gonna do one now that is one of those valley songs, and it's called Tina. Tina is a street name for meth, and I have two brothers who have severe addiction issues with meth and other hard drugs, and as a result, they both have experienced intense mental health issues and homelessness, and you know, an array of troubles associated with that. But this is a song inspired by that experience in my family, and kind of seeing my mom kind of try and cope with that and being kind of in the middle of it. But it's called Tina.
Yesterday I called my mother, crying on an airport floor. She was telling me about two of my brothers, and now she can't take much more. 2 years now she's been a widow, heiress to a chaos scene, with two full-grown schizophrenic ghosts, strung out on amphetamine and living on the street. Is it freedom? Is it pain? When it's standing still in your veins, tell me you're sick, or are we all just falling to pieces? Yeah, it cooked you, what a waste. I saw it took you with just a taste. But now she's feeding on lost souls just like the prophets. But with drugs like that, who needs God anyway? There's nothing I can say to make it any better. Oh no. So much we used to pray, does it even matter? Is it freedom? No, it's pain. When it's freezing hard in your veins. Tell me you're sick, or are we all just falling to pieces? I saw it cook you, what a waste. Yeah, it took you with just a taste. Now she's feeding on lost souls just like the prophets. But with drugs like that, who needs God? Hey, with drugs like that, who needs love? With drugs like that, who needs life anyway?
That is Susto live at JPR. That's from their new record out just weeks ago, My Entire Life. That track's called Tina. That song just makes me want to give people hugs.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Their music is out on all streaming platforms just newly, and it's for purchase at sustoisreal.com. And you can also find their tour schedule there and also on social media at Susto Is Real. These guys are out in tour in support of this record. Guys, how's the roads been treating you? Have you have any fun or embarrassing rock and roll tour stories so far?
We've been having a pretty good time, honestly.
It was a pretty rock and roll a couple nights ago, to be honest. Yeah. We had a lot of fun. We were staying in the redwoods.
Marty had too much fun.
Yeah, we've had a great tour. We kind of kicked things off a few weeks ago in Texas, and we spent some time in Colorado and New Mexico and Arizona, and have been in California the last few days, and now we're getting into Oregon late last night. But it's been fun. We got to, I think one of the highlights that was really cool is we got to go do this podcast with Pauly Shore, which was fun because I grew up watching his movies, and it's also funny too because the record's kind of heavy, but then we went and did this comedy show with Pauly Shore.
We were playing something in front of him. He's like, "Do you have anything a little less depressing to play?" And then we and he's like, "You got any covers?" And then we're like, "Yeah, we got Daniel." And he's like, "No, that song sucks." He's just straight up.
Yeah, he was being funny. It was great. Yeah. But yeah, so that was cool, and the shows have been fun. It's been really just cool to kind of get to bring the album to life, so to speak, too, because we had rehearsals leading up to the record release and the tour kind of kickoff, but on the road is where we've been really kind of honing in things, and now that we're a few weeks in, it feels really good, and we're planning to record a live record in a couple weeks, at the end of this kind of run, and so it's just been exciting to be out, I think, playing with each other and kind of getting close, on stage with the songs, but also just experiencing driving across the country with your friends it's always fun. It's something that's kind of part of our rhythm, in this business, and we're always grateful to get to kind of travel and see cool stuff.
And be together too, right? Yeah. Because the album, I thought I heard you were kind of recording all over the place. Some in South Carolina, some in Georgia, over in Mexico City. Is this kind of the most time you guys spend together is touring and on the road?
For sure. I think this, because we all live in different places, and even those of us who live close by, we tour with each other, so we don't necessarily seek each other out.
After a tour, we all go to our own goals.
But so this is the part where we are all together for months at a time, and but it's good. I mean, everybody's getting along so far. I think it's taken a long time for our band to kind of, I mean, like Johnny and Marshall and I, and also our bass player Kevin, have kind of been involved in Susto. People have kind of taken time away and come back, and it's taken a while to kind of get this lineup together, and it's just so fun. It's my favorite so far, because it's just, there's a few of us that have been very close to the music in the band for a number of years, and then there's also some younger folks that are coming in and really adding a lot, and I don't know, it's been a blast.
What's a Susto live show like?
We've kind of turned it into this like experience. Like, it's not really crowd surfing.
Lighters up. Is
It's our
it
next album release,
Kumbaya?
too. We're doing a whole live album.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Excited to do that. It's going to be in a barn in the middle of Iowa.
Yeah, I think the shows kind of feel like spiritual in a way. They're like, and also we have this backdrop now that's like that Marshall designed, and it's got this dove on it kind of as the centerpiece, and like also this other imagery that we use in our band with snakes and rainbows and roses, and it just kind of sets this vibe. Like, there's this like experience, and we're doing this whole part of the set too, where we kind of like come in and do this MTV Unplugged style thing, and then we come back out of that with more rock and roll. And I don't know, having 5 albums to kind of choose from is nice too, because it's like, I feel like we're getting to like really play songs that speak to us and speak to this moment from across our catalog, that kind of complement the new record, and it's been really cool to craft this set. I'm feeling really great about it, and I'm excited to kind of like Johnny was saying, work on the live record too. That's something we've released some like stripped down live stuff, but we've never released a proper full band live record. And the place we're recording it, Codfish Hollow in Iowa, is a place that's near and dear to us, and we're really excited to kind of capture the way everything's sounding, and also the way the set has been constructed, you know.
Yeah. Well, congrats on that, and good luck, and we can't wait to get a copy of that, so make sure to send that back our way once you get that all completed.
Sure.
Listeners, you can find their tour schedule at Susto is Real, Susto is Real, and that's the handle for social media as well. I think we have time for one more tune. What would you like to wrap up with, guys?
Well, since we were talking about the road, maybe we'll do one about the road. This one's also from the new record, and it's called Rock On. This one's usually a lot more rockin', but we're going to kind of like acoustic on this morning, I guess.
I woke up in a motel, spent all day in a van. I showed up late and they meet me at the gate saying, who are you playing with, man? But I get stoned in the mornings, I start chasing lines. Yeah, I'll tell you the truth, I got the microphone blues, but I give it to them every night. You gotta rock on. Yeah, I'm gonna rock on. Baby needs clothes she could work in, baby needs play clothes too. If I get home with a pocket full of money, I'ma spend it all on you. I'll take you on a trip to the islands, take you on a trip down to Spain. We'll pick up sticks, you got the #1 tricks, I got the #1 team in the game. We're gonna rock on. Yeah, you gotta rock on. Let's rock. I woke up in a hotel, spent all day on a plane. We showed up late, but they meet me at the gate saying, we've been waiting on you, man. I get stoned in the mornings, I start chasing lines. I tell you the truth, I got the microphone blues, but I give it to them every night. You gotta rock on. Yeah, we're gonna rock on.
That's Susto here live in the Steve Nelson Performance Studio at Jefferson Public Radio. That's an acoustic version of Rock On from their new record, My Entire Life. Hey, you guys, thanks so much for getting up this morning and spending some time with us here. Best of luck on tour. We'll be following you. And please don't be shy. Next time you guys are on the West Coast, come through and see us. And we'd love to hear what you're working on next.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, Danielle. Thanks for the thoughtful conversation. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
You bet. This live session has been engineered by Dave Jackson and John Griffin. I'm your host, Danielle Kelly. This live session will be available later today on our website, ijpr.org, and also archived on Spotify. You can just search JPR Live Sessions, also on Google and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again, you guys. Open Air will continue right after this.